Hi everyone! So 4 weeks ago today, we divided my Tany Stosa back here as well as my schismatoglottis plant, and I wanted to give you an update today on how both of the mother plants as well as the propagations that we took off of them in that video are doing. Now just a quick reminder, we did do 2 different methods on each of those plants in that video. One of the plants we actually removed all of the substrate. We removed all of the severed roots from the dividing process and potted it back up. On the other plant, we didn't remove any of the substrate. We didn't remove all of the severed roots. So I wanted you guys to be able to see how each of them fared. Now I do want to remind you up front that these are 2 very different plants. One is in the prayer plant family of plants, and those tend to be a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more finicky, so I knew that one might have a slightly more difficult time recovering than the schismatoglottis plant, which is a little bit more of a resilient type plant. But let's just go ahead and start taking a look at these plants, and since the Tany Stosa mama plant is right here, I think that's where we'll start. Alright you guys, so here is our mama Tany Stosa. Now I did mention to you guys that I knew the Stosas were going to throw a bigger fit, give me a little bit more of this kind of nonsense than the schismatoglottis, just because prayer plant family plants tend to be a little bit more sensitive to just about anything you do to them. However, in the last 4 weeks, we have only lost a total of 4 leaves completely, like yellowed up, shriveled up. I had to cut them off. So all in all, that is pretty good. Now, some of these leaves here, you can see, these are probably going to die off. Theo did, as you can probably see, chew on the ends of these, so that's not helping the situation. So we probably will still lose a few more leaves on here. Now, I don't know if y'all recall, but we did have a whole new offshoot little baby plant growing right about there. Theo pulled that out of the soil completely by its roots some point last week. I didn't discover it until it was past the point of being able to salvage it, so that's why that's not there anymore. But the important thing here, you guys, is that we do already have new growth going on. So let me get you zoomed in a little bit closer. Okay, so hopefully the camera stays nice and focused for you guys, but this leaf right here, looking beautiful, is a brand new leaf. We have one right here that is still sort of unfurling, looking fabulous, and hopefully you can see there's another new one coming in right here that has not unfurled yet. But that is what we want to see. That is an excellent sign. So even though we are still going to lose a few more leaves over here, that's not unexpected, but we are kicking off new growth. So that means that things are working out pretty well for this plant. Now, once again, don't forget, we did remove all of the soil off of the roots on this one. So there was no severed roots going on down in that soil, dying off just naturally, which shouldn't harm the plant. But I wanted to make a point of proving that to you guys by removing all the soil off of this plant's roots and not off of the schismatoglottis. Now, this plant, because we did remove all that soil and messed with the roots more, that also will account just in general for more yellowing leaves on a plant, regardless of the type of plant. But all in all, this plant is doing absolutely fabulous. So I want to go look at the schismatoglottis mama plant next so that we can get a comparison of the 2 mamas before we look at the actual propagations. All right, you guys, so here is the mama schismatoglottis plant, and just a reminder, we did have some messed up leaf tips when we originally divided this plant. A lot of that was just from Theo chewing on the leaves, but some of this other yellowing has started to occur just from the whole process of dividing this plant, but it's not that bad, you guys. Let me tilt her down, and some of these that already had messed up leaf tips, it's just been spreading, but that just happens over time. But there's still plenty of leaves, such as this one right here, that look fabulous. Over here, we're still looking pretty good. Now, we only lost, over the last 4 weeks, 3 leaves off of this plant, I believe. I think we might have a few others that we're gonna lose. Just looking probably down below, there's a couple that might still get lost. But the important thing, once again, here is that we do have new growth going on, but it is very compact up in the center here, so let me get you closer in. All right, you guys, so hopefully you can see right here, we have a new leaf starting to push out. We do have some, including this one right here that hopefully you can see, is new as well. So definitely we are pushing out new growth, probably more so at a slightly quicker rate than on the Stosa, which is not unexpected. This plant in general grows faster than the Stosa. But once again, that is a good sign. And this plant, we did not remove a bunch of dirt. We left severed roots on there, and as you can see, it is just thriving. It is not going in a bad direction at all. It's not looking like it's going to completely die off. It's not wilted or anything of the sort. I will tell you that yesterday it was a little bit wilted, but that was just because I accidentally went about a day too long between waterings, but I'm trying to be really careful about the waterings right now because we put it through so much. But all in all, you guys, it's doing great. Let me take it out of its cover pot since this one is in a clear pot, and we'll see if we can see any new roots spreading around yet. All right, you guys, looking around in here, I'm not really seeing anything except maybe that, but I'm not sure if that's a root or not. That actually might be a root. I think that might be a root. That would be the first one that I can see in here. I will say that I was thinking that we would see more roots by this point just because this plant tends to root so quickly. But once again, we put it through quite a bit of trauma, so that's probably why we aren't seeing anything quite yet, but I'm not concerned about that at all. If you think this looks really damp, once again, just watered it yesterday, so that's why it's looking pretty damp, but this is a very kind of moisture-loving plant, so it is okay with that. So basically, you guys, mama plants are doing good in my book. At this 4-week mark, if things were gonna go horribly wrong and they were gonna die off, we would already be seeing way more than just 3 lost leaves. We wouldn't be seeing a bunch of new growth. All those kinds of things that we just talked about are definitely good signs that this process has worked in both the situation where we removed all of the soil from the roots on the other plant and both in this situation where we just basically divided and potted back up immediately without doing anything else. But let's go check on the actual propagations we took from these plants. Okay guys, so here is the division that we potted up separate from the mom plant from the Tany Stosa. I actually think this one looks a little bit better than mom does, honestly. We don't have as much of the browning, still a little bit on some of these leaves, as you can see. We did still only lose, I believe, off of this one, like 3 leaves in total so far. We do still have some old Theo, if I can grab it, Theo chew damage on this one as well, but that was there before we potted it up. Good news, once again, though, is that we did finally put out our first new leaf, which is this leaf right here, which is looking absolutely beautiful. So definitely it's making a recovery. Now, another thing I wanted to mention, you guys, you can see how some of these leaves are still cupped. So they got cupped when we did the division process. That's not unexpected on this type of plant. However, sometimes when prayer plant family plants decide to do that kind of cupping, lots of times they won't ever fully uncup, or it will take quite some time. So that is not something to be worried about on this type of plant in particular. As you probably noticed when we were looking at the schismatoglottis mother plant a second ago, there wasn't anything like that. That's just a difference in the type of plants, not in the process that we did or anything like that. So all in all, removing all the soil from the roots and all of the severed roots went well, especially for this particular plant. Let me flip you around and we're going to look at the schismatoglottis divisions. Okay, so here are our 2 schismatoglottis plants that we divided off of the mama plant. Now, once again, a lot of this leaf issue stuff you're seeing was here before, but also I didn't realize it, but Theo has been over here chewing on the edges of this plant, both of these plants again. I mean, oh my God, he's so ridiculous. Like, he stopped pretty much chewing on the mama plant. I put this over here and I thought he wouldn't mess with it, but clearly I was wrong. So that's why some of this looks crappy. Now, honestly, you guys, we haven't lost any leaves off of these 2 yet. I say yet because you can probably see we are having some yellowing. It does look like on the back side of this one. I got one down here that's not looking so hot, but I haven't lost any leaves off of this in 4 weeks. So I'm not that concerned that I've got a few of them that look like they're getting ready to die off because mama's already lost 3 in the last 4 weeks. But the rest of the leaves are still looking good. Hopefully you can see we've got nice, beautiful green leaves here, healthy green leaves. Now, I take that back. When I checked a few days ago, when I was prepping for this video, you guys, I didn't think we'd gotten any new growth on these ones yet, but we have. Let me get this one up here. You see this new leaf coming out right here. That is a brand new leaf pushing its way out. I don't think, this could be a new leaf, but I don't think it is. I think that was there before. And let's see, but this looks like a new leaf. That is way too shiny. not to be a new leaf. So it does look like we've gotten at least 2 new leaves. That's probably about all, but we're growing. That's all we really care about. Let's see about over here. I did notice that there was a flower that was starting to come out when we divided this plant. It did finally come all the way out, so the plant didn't stop growing at all. I do need to water this one. It feels quite light. But other than that flower, let's see if we've gotten anything new pushing out over here yet. Right here. That is a brand new leaf right there. I think that might be, oh, we got another one coming in over here. If you can see it, the camera will focus for me right here. We have a new leaf coming in, so that's good. So 2 new leaves it looks like on this one. Actually, that also definitely looks like a new leaf. So 3 new leaves on this one, 2 new leaves on this one. We are still alive. We are happy plants. Oh, didn't mean to jar you guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, overall happy plants. Now I am not going to sell these quite yet, primarily because I don't have them in clear pots because we didn't have clear pots that would work, and I can't really see what's going on with the roots. So I want to make sure that they start to fully root again before I would sell these to anybody. Good news is with these plants, and actually with the Tany Stosa, the plants tend to grow their roots relatively quickly, and to the point where I can see them in the bottom drainage holes of these pots pretty easily, fairly early on. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wait till I start to see a lot of new growth and then hopefully start to see a few roots through those drainage holes. And at that point, I will go ahead and sell these. But all in all, everybody is doing pretty good. All right, you guys, so as you can see, both of those division methods that we did really work about the same. We really had very similar results on both plants, which is actually kind of amazing because I really thought we would see a little bit more of a drastic difference in how the Tany Stosa behaved compared to the schismatoglottis, just because it is a more sensitive plant. But definitely, I think it performed better than even I thought it was going to. So when it comes to deciding which of these methods you guys want to use personally, best recommendation I have for you is just what are you willing to put up with, honestly, because we know both methods will work, but one is a bit more time consuming than the other. Obviously, trying to remove all of the substrate, getting all the severed roots off, is going to take you more time. Now, if it is a plant that is a slightly more sensitive plant, maybe you're just a little bit more concerned or worried about leaving those severed roots in the pot, in that case, just go with what's going to make you feel more comfortable and have you less stressed out at the end of the day. So it might take you more time in the moment, but if it's going to let you sleep easier at night and have less concern over whether that plant is going to thrive and survive post dividing it, then by all means, choose that as your option. But I hope you guys have not only found the original video on dividing plants useful, but hopefully this update video has helped you as well. If so, please be sure to click that like and/or subscribe button down below, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next time. Aloha!